Now on NBC Palm Springs at 5, a Cabazon infant remains missing tonight after the sheriff says they can't rule out foul play. We have the latest details ahead.
Also this evening, a former Eisenhower physician gets candid about the lawsuit and pending settlement over the medical center's COVID-19 response.
And we're tracking another warm-up this week. Well, more on that full forecast coming up. NBC Palm Springs at 5 starts right now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
I'm Mark Mester. We start tonight with a search for a missing Cabazon infant. And now investigators in San Bernardino County say they have not ruled out foul play. That's tonight's top story. A 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro was last seen on Thursday in Yucaipa. Deputies say the infant's mother, Rebecca Haro, reported being attacked outside of a Yucaipa business. According to initial interviews, though, investigators say Rebecca reported being attacked by an unknown male who left her unconscious. She says she awoke and Emmanuel was gone. Deputies say that follow-up interview, however, revealed inconsistencies in her initial statements. She then declined to be further interviewed when pressed on them. And now deputies tonight saying they've conducted extensive searches in both Yucaipa and Cabazon, serving several search warrants at the Haro's residence. Sheriff's investigators say over the weekend that they, quote, are unable to rule out foul play in the infant's disappearance. Anyone with information on this case is urged to call the number right there at the very bottom of your screen. And coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, our Brett Rosen will have a full report on this story.
And with that, let's take a live look outside our Agua Caliente casino camera in Rancho Mirage as our Monday begins to wrap up here. Today, not too bad. Weekend got a little sticky, but I know Splash House was in town, so for everyone celebrating in Palm Springs, probably felt pretty good.
Yeah, it's hard, right? You get a little bit of those cooler conditions, but then you get that stickiness as well. And I would say enjoy those cooler conditions because we are back to those 110s for later this week. Outside right now, 105 in downtown Palm Springs at the airport. Again, we are going to be right around seasonal today, just below right now. 105, like I said, winds from the east, northeast direction. Winds, not a huge concern for us this week. So that is good news. We are going to be staying breezy at best. So good news for those that are getting out to golf, but bad news because you need to start those golf times a little bit earlier because it's going to be another warm one this week. I think even starting tomorrow, we might be above 110 degrees again for most of the work week, 110s by Friday. So for Tuesday, again, we'll stay right around seasonal. Olivia was talking about that humidity. That's something that we're tracking as well this week with the center of the high pressure system kind of moving west over the course of this week. It's going to drop a lot of that moisture, more so than we saw last week. So we are expecting, again, chances of rain and thunderstorms as we get into our Friday and weekends. So more on that later. I do want to mention we are under an extreme heat watch starting on actually Wednesday, I believe now, for portions of Southern California through Friday this week. An extreme heat warning for portions of Joshua Tree. So just keep that in mind with whatever plans you have. We want everyone to be safe in these conditions that we are expecting this week. Here's what your Comfort Air 3-day forecast. So 110 for our Tuesday. Again, temperatures will slowly climb this week, taking us to the 110s by the second half of the work week. We'll break down more you can expect in that full forecast coming up.
All right, Chloe, thank you for that. CAL FIRE is spreading awareness as today is National Forest Fire Prevention Day. The agency reminding residents that wildfires can spark and spread quickly. Some key reminders tonight. You should know more than 2 ways to evacuate if your neighborhood is under orders in the case of a wildfire. And always plan for pets and assisting young children, elderly family members, and anyone who may need extra help.
95% of vegetation fires or wildfires are caused by human cause, whether that's accidental or intentional. The other 5% is caused by nature, such as lightning strikes and things like that. And the weather is red flag or things of that nature. The best thing that you can do is to avoid dangerous activities like having uncovered barbecues, cutting dry grass, dragging chains when you're towing. It only takes one spark to start a fire.
You can sign up for emergency alerts from CAL FIRE. If you'd like that information, go to our website, NBCPalmSprings.com.
Palm Springs International Airport is adding a nonstop flight to Charlotte. This is through American Airlines. The announcement comes on the heels of the airport announcing nonstop transportation to Newark and Austin in season as well. The service starts December 20th. It runs every Saturday through April 18th of 2026. If you would like to book a ticket in advance, they're on sale right now. Head to the American Airlines website.
The punitive damages phase of a case against Eisenhower Medical Center is underway tonight. This after the same judge in this case already awarded $1.6 million to a former physician at that hospital.
The judge said Eisenhower violated its own bylaws by muzzling Dr. Richard Loftus and forcing him to resign. Special correspondent Vicki Vargas in studio with us tonight to explain how this lawsuit all unfolded.
We really should put it in perspective, and to do that, you have to go back to the timeline for the lawsuit. It goes back to the early days of 2020. That's before anyone really knew COVID-19 would be declared a worldwide pandemic, but not before Dr. Richard Loftus says he knew what this could mean to the Coachella Valley.
This is going to be as disruptive to the world as our planet being hit by an asteroid.
Dr. Richard Loftus lives in Fargo, North Dakota now. He sat down with our NBC affiliate KVLY TV so we could ask the questions.
I think a lot of people wanted to minimize what was about to happen. And yes, there was a lot of resistance.
According to the lawsuit, the Yale-educated virologist went on the record early, asking that doctors inside Eisenhower be allowed to wear masks to protect themselves. Instead, he says he found himself facing medical officials who were COVID deniers.
What we got instead was a program officer who said, well, Asians romanticize wearing masks, and this is all being overblown.
In the months that followed, Dr. Loftus was accused by Eisenhower of being disruptive and inappropriate, even, they say, causing community panic. It's why at one point he took his COVID warnings undercover in this exclusive NBC Palm Springs interview back in 2020.
If we do business as usual, the hospitals will get overwhelmed in a matter of a couple of weeks.
Then a private social media post of his became public. In it, he wrote to other doctors, "I'm glad some of you are sheltered from what unbridled COVID-19 looks like. It's a hell show."
I was simply trying to describe conditions in a heavily hit area to other doctors so they could be prepared. It wasn't a critique of anything happening at my institution. I didn't even mention the name of my institution.
Hospital officials didn't see it that way, calling the doctor an alarmist. According to the lawsuit, hospital officials held closed-door meetings and then gave Dr. Loftus a choice: leave the hospital or sign a behavior agreement. The judge called it clever manipulation.
You know, there's no way in a million years I would sign an agreement. What doctor would say, yeah, as a condition of my having hospital privileges, I'll be supervised by a psychiatrist? I mean, that's obviously career ending.
Loftus says he left the hospital like a thief in the night. In a statement, hospital officials told us Eisenhower denies Dr. Loftus's allegations, disagrees with the judge's decision, and reserves its right to potentially pursue appellate review. Dr. Loftus says this was never about the money. It was about the toxic environment at Eisenhower.
They damaged my credentials, called me a mental case, and then sent me a bouquet of flowers. Who does that?
All right, Vicki continues to join us here this evening. Why was that doctor so concerned about what was happening before we even knew this was going to be a pandemic?
Keep in mind, this is someone who was well-trained in virology. He went to school at UC San Francisco. That's where he got his medical degree. Some of the researchers there had done initial, as he calls it, back-of-the-envelope calculations on what could happen. And he began to predict that 1.1 million people could die from COVID. In the end, the judge said he was right. 1.2 million people died in this country from that virus.
I remember speaking to Dr. Loftus during 2020. We had a lot of coverage from him here on NBC Palm Springs. So thank you for your report tonight. We'll continue to follow along with that. And let's turn to some more local headlines that are happening this evening. A Riverside County man was sentenced today for organizing cockfighting events. Isidro Chaparro Sanchez of Corona will spend 1 month in federal custody, 7 months in home confinement, and is ordered to pay a fine of $4,000. The FBI investigated this matter. Sanchez pleading guilty in March to a federal count of conspiracy to sponsor and exhibit roosters in an animal fighting venture. 4 co-defendants now await their sentencing as well. Coming up next tonight on NBC Palm Springs, President Trump meets with Ukraine's president at the White House. We'll tell you what was discussed right after the break.
Also this evening, today is National World Breast Cancer Research Day. Tonight we'll be hearing from a local oncologist. he was working to spread awareness.
Also, we're hearing from the new superintendent of Palm Springs Unified School District, who shares his vision. That's ahead at 6. Our Alondra Campos will have that full report. We'll be right back.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 5.
Welcome back. President Donald Trump continues his push to end the war between Russia and Ukraine.
Today, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky returned to the White House as more than a half dozen European leaders joined Zelensky in the search for an end to this war. Tonight, Julie Sirkin has the details from the nation's capital.
At the White House, a show of solidarity. European leaders and the head of NATO joining Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in his latest meeting with President Trump.
Thank you very much for being here.
It's the next step as the president pushes for an end to Russia's war against Ukraine, now in its 4th year. The goal? Getting Zelensky and President Vladimir Putin to meet face to face.
I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
The high-stakes conversations follow Friday's unusual summit in Alaska, where the president rolled out the red carpet, literally, for Putin. But talks were cut short, and President Trump returned to Washington without a peace deal or a ceasefire agreement.
We're going to have a phone call right after these meetings today, and we may or may not have a trilat. If we don't have a trilat, then the fighting continues.
And Ukraine is looking for security guarantees to prevent another Russian invasion in the future.
There'll be a lot of help. When it comes to security, there's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good.
Russia wants to keep the Ukrainian territory it occupied, about 20% of the country.
He's certainly asking for things that the Ukrainians and others are not willing to be supportive of, and that we're not going to push them to give.
President Trump has signaled Ukraine might have to concede some regions to Russia, something Zelensky may not agree to, but saying today.
We need to stop this war to stop Russia, and we need support American and European partners. We will do our best for this.
It was Zelensky's first visit to the White House since February's contentious Oval Office meeting.
You don't have the cards right now.
Now, both sides hoping for a smoother relationship, which leads to peace. And during that meeting with President Trump, President Zelensky passed along a letter from his wife to Melania Trump. You'll remember it comes after President Trump hand-delivered a letter from the First Lady to Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday, urging him to end the war because of the children being affected by it. In Washington, Julie Sirkin, NBC News.
And we ask you to tune into NBC Nightly News for much more information on this story. It airs right after this newscast. All right, turning to a story that just came into our newsroom this evening, the Palm Springs Police Department is rolling out major safety reforms after its review of the December 7th motorcycle crash that happened at the Festival of Lights Parade. You may remember this incident when officers performed unsanctioned maneuvers. One of the officers lost control of his motorcycle, which slid into a crowd, injuring 12 people. Paramedics rushed to treat both the officer and the bystanders who were injured. The California Highway Patrol handled the collision investigation, while Palm Springs police conducted their own review, acknowledging lapses in supervision. In response, the department is tightening safety protocols, including a citywide ban on risky officer maneuvers, speed limits under 15 miles per hour during parades, and the hiring of a full-time special events supervisor. Additional reforms include retraining supervisors on incident command, stricter communication protocols, and a new fatigue management policy. City Manager Scott Stiles says the changes are about rebuilding public trust. And Police Chief Andy Mills adds the department is committed to accountability and preventing anything like this from happening again.
Today is World Breast Cancer Research Day. Staff at Eisenhower Health spreading awareness. They say over 2,000 new cases of breast cancer are diagnosed every year at their facility, with some patients needing treatment for a few months to a few years. Eisenhower Health stresses that different treatments and options are available to help patients.
So there have never been more treatment options available for cancer patients than today. And that's going to continue to grow and evolve. There are lots of immunotherapies and targeted therapies. I've been in oncology for 20 years now, and I have seen huge changes in the treatments available to patients, and again, direct result from research and clinical trials, and that's going to continue to grow.
And a reminder, Desert Cancer Foundation's upcoming Paint El Paseo Pink Walk is in October. You can sign up now. For more information, head to our website, NBCPalmSprings.com, and click on our newsroom tab.
All right, tonight we're giving you a live look from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. We've got a peek at the forecast. Looks like temperatures are going to heat back up. Chloe Carlson with those details on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
And happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back. Right now, we're taking a live look at the Walter Clark Highway 11 cam in Rancho Mirage. Clear blue skies today in the Coachella Valley and across Southern California. Drier day for us today. Some light traffic there on the 111. 105 for the high today, so we were slightly below average, a trend that we had all weekend long, which was very nice. Olivia mentioned earlier, a little sticky out there, but I'll take those cooler conditions because they're not lasting for us. 103 right now in the southeast and in Indio. 103 also in Thousand Palms, right 100 degrees at this hour in Desert Hot Springs. Overnight tonight will be slightly above for overnight, 79 for Palm Springs, 80s in Palm Desert. So I mentioned this earlier, winds not a huge issue for us this week. Looks like those are not the right days. So, but Monday, we'll look at Monday, breezy conditions for us today. As far as dew points, relative humidity, it's going to rise as we start to get into later this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, again, 10%. As into Thursday, that's going to change a little bit because of the placement of that ridge of high pressure. So for Wednesday, it is still kind of developing, building. You can see still well to the east of us, 110 to 114 for our Wednesday, maybe a few mid-level clouds out there. As we get into Friday, this side of that high pressure system, you can see will start to push more west. So we're going to get a little bit more cloud cover out there. So again, not going to see those clear blue skies come later this week. And that's what's also going to help those temperatures, because we do expect hot conditions, but I hope I don't jinx myself saying this. It looks like we're not going to get above 120 degrees, excuse me, because of that monsoonal moisture kind of keeping those temperatures a little bit below 120. So rainfall estimates with this monsoonal moisture moving through, again, bringing those chances of rain and thunderstorms for Friday, likely staying over our San Bernardino Mountains, our surrounding mountains, a little bit for the high desert. Here's a closer look at that. So sprinkles on Friday, Saturday, more of that monsoonal moisture moving through. So we do have a chance for that, chance of rain for us here in Palm Springs. Here's what you come for their 7-day forecast. Getting temperatures climbing all week long. We'll get back to seasonal by Saturday.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. NBC Palm Springs News. Even astronauts tune in for their news fix. When it comes The NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Well, welcome back. Hockey continues to grow here in the Coachella Valley. You've got travel and rec leagues to high school teams and even academies. Well, yesterday, the Berger Foundation Iceplex held a sled hockey event. SoCal Adaptive Sports hosted the event for all ages. Over 50 guests attended to learn all about sled hockey, a sport with the same concept as ice hockey for those with physical disabilities. Founder of the organization, Mike Rosenkrantz, proud to bring the event to the Iceplex and looks forward to the growth of the sport right here in the Coachella Valley.
And we're out here at Berger today to do some sled hockey. As you can see behind us, we had a really good turnout. We want to make sure that there are opportunities for anyone with any ability to be able to participate. That's what this is about. We're all about social inclusion.
Well, to learn more about the organization's mission and next event, you can visit socaladaptivesports.org. Pretty remarkable. Just about every sport you could imagine on there. Now, it's officially game week for schools across the Coachella Valley as the Friday night lights will shine bright for the next 10 weeks. The Rancho Mirage Rattlers will kick things off Thursday night at home before we all get ready for a full slate on Friday. And then more than just highlights, we'll meet the players and coaches, even get an inside look on how the programs are run. You can watch our preview ahead of kickoff this week on our website at NBCPalmSprings.com. It is up there now as we speak, and we're going to be adding flag football to the slate this season as well. All the latest highlights and scores from around the valley right here on NBC Palm Springs. And that'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
Tim, thank you. Some entertainment news tonight. The Pokemon World Championships took place over the weekend. Rick Damagella has a look at this annual event.
1, 2, 3.
A giant inflatable Pikachu welcomed competitors and spectators to the 2025 Pokemon World Championships in Anaheim, California.
It's a culmination of the 2025 season. We're playing for the title of Pokemon World Championship across Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet video games, the Pokemon trading card game, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Unite. We've got over 2,500 competitors, and that's not to mention the expected 20,000 spectators that we'll have on hand.
And while players must earn their way into the championships, competitive play leading up to it is open to anyone.
All of our events are open to everyone, with the exception of, you have to qualify for the World Championships, of course, but everything's open to everyone. We want it to be as inviting as humanly possible for everybody, and see that there's an entry point for everyone in our brand.
Please find your seats for round number 3.
In addition to the competition, other events taking place include panels, autograph sessions, and plenty of photo opportunities. And while pictures with Eevee, Pikachu, and other characters were a big draw, the center of attention is definitely the competition. In Anaheim, California, I'm Rick Damagella.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. NBC Palm Springs News. Even astronauts tune in for their news fix. When it comes to time.
All right, finally tonight, a delicious deal returning to Olive Garden. Starting next week, the restaurant chain's never-ending pasta bowl deal returns for $13.99. So customers can order unlimited pasta along with unlimited soup or salad, and of course, those breadsticks. The promotion runs from August 25th to November 16th, so got a lot of time to enjoy that.
I haven't been to an Olive Garden in a while. I know we have one in Palm. Is that Palm Desert Rancho right
it's like
there?
right on 111.
Yeah, right.
They got some good soups there, so go for those soups and salad.
The breadsticks. You can
And
just
those
give me
breadsticks.
piles of breadsticks. I'll be a happy lady.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Nightly News is next, and we're back here tonight with the latest local headlines. We'll see you then. Good night.